Hello there, I'm Scotty, you're not. And if you look up the phrase "yee" in the dictionary, I'm sure you'll find a picture of this movie right there. Because, yee, Jesus. This one of the, I already figured it was one of those movies where they say, one of those movies where you watch it and you say, there's no way they can make this today. But I'm sitting here watching this going, how the hell did it get made back then? There's gratuitous nudity, and there is whatever this movie was doing. It's, there's not even a reason for it. Like, it really doesn't make any sense. And there's a whole Carrie-esque ending to this movie that once you think about what is going on in this scene, you're wondering why it's allowed to continue and why certain people aren't acting the way they're supposed to. I don't know. So we don't know, and let's be honest, you don't. Zapped, with exclamation point, is a raunchy teen comedy from 1982 starring Scott Baio and Willie Ames. 2 years. That's two fellas. There you go. 2 years before they were on Charles in Charge. This was towards the end of Happy Days, and yeah. It also baffles me that someone like Scott Baio, who was in such a family-friendly sitcom like Happy Days at the time. In fact, I think at this point, was he in Johnny Loves Chachi? But it was still family-friendly. Would be in such a raunchy thing. No, it's not as raunchy as you would think. It's not like one of those direct-to-video, unrated movies from the 2000s. But even those had more justified boobs than this movie. I just don't know. So Scott Baio plays Barney, known as the dinosaur or Fred Flintstone's best friend. His name is Barney. He is a brilliant scientist of sorts in high school. High school, remember that. And he's making this thing, and accidentally, with the help of one of his teachers, played by Scott Man Carruthers. I think he's the one who did it. There's an accident, and there's like a little explosion that gives him telekinesis, which is not what I thought it was at all. I was under the impression this was similar to the Zendaya movie, but they dumbed that down for Disney. I thought he could control women. No, it's just straight up telekinesis, which confused me, but yeah. And it starts out innocent enough. He helps them win the baseball game and all that, and it's fine. But then, like, he's the small things. He learns he can do it. He accidentally knocks one of those maps that you pull down in a classroom. He knocks one of those down on top of the teacher's head by accident. He accidentally flings stuff, and then once his buddy, Peyton, who's Willie Ames' character, realized he could do that, he got to help us win the baseball game because we're always losing. So he does that. And then it gets to the territory of, okay, someone was told somewhere to write a scene with boobs because it doesn't make any sense. So, like, the rival team, there's a car with 4 people from the rival team, 2 rival players, I think, and then their girlfriends are in the car. And the guys show up and they moon him. They're driving by him and they see him and they moon him. They both moon him. So Barney gets mad and he levitates both of them, then rips open the blouses of the women to show the boobs. And I'm just like, what? No. That is, huh? There's weird science where, like, the one chick on the piano, her clothes get flung off her. There's that. Wait, that didn't make much sense either. It was a nice little, oh look, it's Peaches the movie with boobs. Sure, this is rated R, but like, if you're gonna have boobs in your movie, make it make sense. There's no reason that he's gonna. Why would it make sense for him to get mad at these guys? Levitating them with their naked butts in the air makes sense. They already mooned him. But why does he need to rip open their blouses? it just doesn't. It doesn't work. It doesn't, I don't understand, and it's not the only time that happens either. It's just I don't know. Doesn't make any sense. So when I was watching this, I saw the obvious kind of thing we have going here. We have our two main characters. You have obvious nerdy love interest Bernadette, and you have a stuck-up rich girl Jane. It's Teen Wolf. That's what it is. So my thought was, well, Bernadette's gonna have requited love for Barney, but he's gonna be focused on Jane. No, Jane and Barney are focused on each other for the entire movie. They clearly have a thing for each other, and that's what they go for. It's Peyton, Lily Ames' character, that has a thing for Jane, but she has some college boyfriend. And the weird thing is that he hooks up with her throughout the movie. Like he's with the help of Barney, he gets closer and closer to her, and they do hook up. But then she turns back around and says, "No, I'm with Robert," and you go away. She's got to be the stuck-up bitchy character. I don't know. It just that story hasn't made any sense either. It's like she ends up with her boyfriend, but and he learns his lesson. But there's a whole thing where I laughed at this, but not because it's supposed to be funny. I think it is, but so they go to an amusement park thing for senior day or whatever, and they show up, and Jane comments that both of the guys, that being Robert and Peyton, have both drunk a full 12-pack of beer, and are now gonna go ride rides, and whoever pukes first loses. Okay, so how long were they drinking that beer? Because alcohol, I don't know this, but if you drink alcohol really fast, you're gonna puke regardless. Been there, done that. But also, that's a full 12-pack of beer a piece. They shouldn't be able to walk. I mean, especially if they're, shotgunning it or whatever. But they're just and then burping and farting and stuff. It's that's the only side effect. They're barely stumbling to walk to this place. And so then Peyton's like, "Hey, can you speed up his thing?" And he does, and so he pukes. So then, Jane takes off with them, with Peyton and Bernadette and Barney. By the way, as a couple, they're Barney and Bernie. I just want to put it there. And he's perfectly fine walking around ordering food. I'm like, no, if he had 12 beers, there's no way. Unless he can really hold his liquor. I don't think so. There's some running gags in this that are kind of they're growing weed, and I think the teacher's gonna find out. So Barney's big plan is to burn it in the school furnace, but then Scatman Carruthers, who's the baseball coach, or the coach, the gym teacher, I think, shows up. And why is it that weed in movies is always portrayed as a hallucinogen? That's not what weed is. It calms you down, it cools you off. But he gets a whiff of this weed and automatically has a hallucination where he's, what was it? He's doing something. But then it cuts back and it wears off after a while and he's fine, and I'm just like, that's not how weed works. It's not a hallucinogen. It doesn't do that. Why do movies always do that? Movies and TV do that. I don't understand that. I never understood it. Because weed, I've never really partaken, but I know what it does and what it does not do. And what it does not do is make you hallucinate. So I don't know. There's also a subplot where this female teacher implores the principal to put out a personal ad, which gets answered by some woman who turns out to be her, and then they start to do it underneath their dinner table before they get found out. There's too many teachers, I guess. Yeah, I don't... Like, it's implied she's giving him a BJ under the table. I don't know. Barney and Bernie hook up. And, of course, also do Peyton and Jane. And it's it's straight out confirmed he does take pictures of her. But, like, they're in the dark and he's taking flash photography. And she's wondering where the pictures are coming from. Like, where the flash is coming from. He's like, well, I don't know. I don't know how much good picture... what kind of good pictures you can get from that. But, I don't... That's still not appropriate. I don't know. And then... So, because Robert is mad and wants his money back, he challenges Peyton to a gambling night. So, Peyton brings Barney to cheat for him. But they're also doing the Leprechaun 3 thing where they're pushing a button to cheat, so it's messing him up. So it causes the whole thing to fly around. Yeah. And Bernadette gets mad at him for doing that. But they end up getting back together. By the way, when I said they hooked up, they had sex, it's during a montage. There's a montage of them hanging out for the day to this real sappy song. It sounds like it belongs on an 80s sitcom, but then it leads to them not really a sex scene. It just sort of they're making out, they're kissing, and then it cuts to the real awkward times in sex scenes where they're both laying on their side, and you're wondering, why do movies and TV think that that's how you have sex? Because you can't do. I guess you could, but it wouldn't be the most comfortable. But yeah, and it ends up that smoking. I guess that's a cliche, but I don't understand why she... Like, Bernadette never smokes throughout the rest of the film, but yet, you have to smoke after sex. That's a cliche that I'm glad we're taking out of movies and stuff. Because it's like, I guess you worked up, but, like, you never see them throughout the rest of the film at all, before this or after that. Eventually, they sort of make up. He invites you to the prom. He's like, I want you to go to the prom with me. Come on, please, please. And Peyton wants to go to the prom with Jane. She's going with Robert. And then the movie tries to be Carrie, but in a comedy. And it just... I don't know. This is where it falls a little flat for me. Because the believability that these adult chaperones would just let this keep going and not try to stop it. So Robert gets up in Peyton's face because he's had enough. Because I think it was rigged, but Peyton and Jane win prom king and queen, and she wants nothing to do with him at this point. She's done with him, and he keeps trying to put his head on her chest, and he's not really doing anything. He puts his arm around her. No. So it starts a little fight, which pisses off Barney. So his response is to rip off the top of Jane's dress, showing her boobs. Yeah, again, gratuitous boobs. And then, he helps Peyton fight back a little bit. But then he gets hit with a watermelon to the head, which causes him to freak out, causing wind to go all over the place, ripping other students' clothes off. And I'm watching them going, for the most part, you just see underwear. But there are times where boobs are flopping out. And the whole time, you have the principal and the one teacher that hooked up earlier trying to hook up in various places in the gym while this is going on. And Scatman Carruthers and this other African-American teacher lady are just standing there laughing at the whole situation. And in fact, when an African-American female student comes running by topless, he's like, "Hey, baby," and tries to grab her, and the only response from the woman he's with is like, "Hey," because I think that's his wife. And I'm just like, what teachers are these? These are students. Some of them could be underage, and I know this is the part where you're going, "Oh no, living in the age that you did has ruined these kind of movies for you." Well, nah, because I could watch the unrated stuff, no problem. This is gratuitous for the sake of being gratuitous. Porky's is a family film compared to this. I said it. Porky's is nothing with the gratuity that this is. Because, oh, come on. This is just... I don't get it. I just don't get it. I just don't. I don't get it. I don't know. And during this, Barney supposedly accidentally gets hit in the head with a hose. Like an actual hose, not it. And he gets knocked out. When he comes to, he claims to not have any powers anymore. And I actually fell for this. I'm like, oh, well, I guess that makes sense. He gets knocked out. Okay. But then, Peyton runs off, and Bernadette sneezes, and she tilts her head away, and all of a sudden you just see the little hanky in his pocket go, whoop, and I went, wait a minute. And then I'm like, okay, that's clever. Show he still has it, but he doesn't want anyone to know. But then they walk outside, and he goes, "Hey, Bernadette, you want a lift?" And they turn into what I can only see as a shooting star and fly off into the sky. And I went, what? Huh? What is this? What? Okay. So I'm sitting here and I'm going, what the? I'm going to give it a middle of the road. Because it's a raunchy comedy for sure. I'm glad I watched it. I don't hate it. I don't know. I think there was better ways to incorporate nudity than what they did. It just felt like... It's like there are points in movies like this where you could try to configure nudity. The one place you could have done it is during the sex scenes. And in both of the sex scenes, they're either all the way covered or in complete darkness. There's 3 sex scenes, actually. Even the adults don't get anything. So, but, like, you just have gratuitous... Ooh. And it's not even like we're looking at it for long, because, like, in Jane's case, when it pops off of her, it goes, whoop, you see like a stunt double's tits, and then she goes like this when it cuts back to her. So it's like you just get a hello, and that's it. It's stuff like it's not even to a point that you need to have it. Like, you could have just edited it where it comes off and she goes like this, and that'd been fine. I'm not saying that nudity is a bad thing, but this is so gratuitous. I don't know. Yeah, it's the middle of the road. I'm moving on from this. It's time to do the thing. Alright. Roll. 2. So I did it in front of you last time. I reshuffled. Me. The Last American Virgin. Oh, for the love of Mike. Escape from New York, huh? Fine. I'll do it. So next one I'm doing is Escape from New York, which is another John Carpenter movie, which is one I've been looking forward to covering. I've been doing some John Carpenter movies as of late. I guess I have a couple more left, but it's on the docket. I got plenty left that I haven't done yet, but trying to catch up. I have a few Wes Craven ones I want to do too, but so what are your thoughts on Zapped? Comment below, like, share, subscribe. Yes, they made a sequel, but after watching this, I don't know if I want to watch it. But I said before I would cover both movies, so I have to. So, yeah. So, what are your thoughts? Yeah. Oh, that's right. I already asked that. Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, come on!